Hey guys, so I'm back from Tokyo Regional Immigration Center, which is based in Shinagawa. This has actually been the fifth time that I have visited Tokyo Immigration Center, and I thought I'd make a little video for you so you could probably cut down the amount of times you visit this center, and hopefully it will give you some information to prepare you for renewing your visa. Now, this is related to working holiday visas in Japan, and yeah, I am Australian, so luckily I get to renew my working holiday visa 2 times. And the first time I renewed it was so easy that I was assuming it would be the same as that, and it definitely wasn't. So also give you some information about if you change residence in Japan. It's very important. I'll try and make this as quick as possible. So basically, the first time I renewed my visa was in Sapporo, and it was so easy. It took about 20-30 minutes. So what you need is a revenue stamp, which you buy from the convenience store at the ground floor of the immigration center. Very simple process. Basically, they have a big sign saying revenue stamps. It was 4,000 yen. The second thing you need is your passport, and then you also need your current residence card, and then you need a photo as well, just a passport photo. If you don't know where to take that, they have photo booths on the ground floor of the immigration center as well. Photo booths are everywhere in Japan, not just the purikuras, but the passport ones as well. And also, you need to fill out some forms, which you will get there at the immigration center. So when I went to Sapporo, I had my friend with me, so that made things very easy. She's Japanese, so she did all the talking basically. All I did was fill out my forms, then hand over the revenue stamp, passport photo, my passport and residence card, and yeah, sat down and waited. It took about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. They called me over and they punctured my old residence card and gave me my new residence card. That was all very easy. Coming to Tokyo was a little bit harder, and I'll tell you why. So the first time I arrived to Tokyo, bought my revenue stamp, had everything, my photo and all that stuff, and filled out the forms. Lined up for 2 hours. It was, I guess I picked a busy time for the initial screening part, and then the man was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you can't renew your visa here because can't extend your visa here because your address is registered in Hokkaido. You need to renew in Sapporo," and there's no way I was going to get to Sapporo before my residence card was going to expire. So I'll give you a word of warning. Every time you move residence, it doesn't matter about traveling, but every time you move residence in Japan, you need to register your new address. So the first thing you need to do is get a moving out certificate from your local city ward before you move. And then the second thing is to go to your next city office and then register your new address on your residence card. So the first time I went to Shinagawa, they turned me away because I needed to renew my Tokyo address. So I went to my city office in Kamata. You can just Google city office, you will find yours. And that took a long time. I think 2 or 3 hours. Basically, I didn't have a moving out certificate, but the good thing about me was, the lucky thing is that I hadn't moved to a new residence. Like, Tokyo was the second residence, I suppose, in Japan, because I'd gone back to Australia for 6 months or however long I went back for. It took a long time, and the people, they were helpful, but they couldn't really speak a lot of English, so I had to explain in my broken Japanese that I was traveling. Luckily, I know that part of my vocab, that I traveled to Australia. And anyway, after that, eventually, my new address, my Tokyo address, was registered, so I went back to Shinagawa and, yeah, filled out all the forms, went up to the screening place. Then they basically said, "Oh, you need to get a new photo," because I was using spare photos I had from last time. Couldn't do that, obviously. Got a new photo taken on the ground floor, and then waited for 3 hours with no book or form of entertainment. There was a TV on, but I think it was a boring program or whatever. I couldn't even hear it anyway. Luckily I had my iPod, so I was just listening to music, but it was, 3 hours is a long time to wait, and I really wish I brought a book. So bring a book if you are going to immigration. Anyway, when I finally got called, my number got called, I went up to top, and I showed them my revenue stamp. They're like, "Oh, you don't need a revenue stamp." I was like, "What? Oh, That's a waste of money. So anyway, and then they said, please fill out your address on this postcard, and we will notify you within 30 days of if your application has been approved. It's like, but I'm going to Hokkaido in 30 days. Now, the mistakes I made was getting a bit stressed and frazzled and not thinking and leaving at that point, because I was probably had enough of waiting. So I had to return to Shinagawa for 2 unnecessary reasons. Well, necessary, but I could have avoided this. For starters, I'd filled out my address wrong on the postcard. I'd forgotten my room number, so I had to return for that. Also, I had to return to ask them about if I don't get my postcard before, and I'm returning because I don't have a phone that works here, before I leave for Hokkaido, and the lady I spoke to was like, it's okay, domestic travel is okay, and then I said, but I'm moving there. I'll be there for a few months. She said, how long? I say, oh, maybe 3 or 4 months. And then she said, oh, very cold, but it's okay. And I'm just, oh, okay. So I thought, I'll wait by the mailbox, and when it gets closer, I'll go back. My mum also tried calling to help, and when she called immigration, they said, sorry, no English day. So the level of English can be a little bit hit and miss. If you do have a Japanese friend or colleague or boss who's willing to help out, definitely take that favor because it will help a lot. So today I've returned to immigration. I put my application in on the 27th of October, and now it is the 18th of November. Yeah, anyway, everything's been approved. Yay! So the time was shorter than I was expecting, which is good. I am moving to Hokkaido in a couple of days, so I had to double check. And yeah, but I will have to go back to immigration tomorrow, which will be my 6th time back, because when I got there, the lady was like, oh, and you need a revenue stamp, which, as I'm sure you remember previously, the lady told me I didn't need that. So, and I left my revenue stamp at home. I wasn't thinking I needed it. So I've gone back, and I've got my revenue stamp. I'll show you what it looks like. Oh, revenue stamp. So, anyway, I don't even care that I have to return back to Shinagawa again, because I have been approved, my visa's been extended, everything's good. So yeah, anyway, that's all I had to say. Basically, just be prepared that it might take a little bit longer than you expect. English might be hit or miss if you're an English speaker. If you do have friends or colleagues who are happy to come along with you, who can speak Japanese, that will definitely help. And yeah, try and be mindful of silly things like forgetting to ask about the Hokkaido situation and writing my address wrong. You don't want to do that. That's just going to make your process longer and make you visit immigration unnecessarily. So I hope that's been helpful. Always remember to register your address when you move in Japan. Okay, bye!